Hello, and welcome to Living Proof, the Isaac Newton Institute podcast. My name is Dan Aspel. In today's episode, I'll be speaking to the four organisers of the Cluster Algebras and Representation Theory programme, which has been ongoing since September 2021 and will continue until the end of December. They're going to fill us in on how the programme has been going so far and what they expect to see in its final month. We hope you enjoyed the episode. Okay, so on the microphone today we have the four organisers of the Cluster Algebras and Representation Theory programme. So immediately on my left is Ralph Schiffler.
Hello.
Then we have Karen Bauer.
Yes, hello.
And Bethany Marsh.
Hey.
And finally we have Sibylla Schroll.
Hello.
Lovely, so thank you all for joining me. We thought we'd meet up to have a conversation about your programme and the progress that it's been making since we filmed the introduction to CAR, as we'll call it for short. So we've had roughly 3 months, I think, of a roughly 4-month programme. How do you feel that everything's been progressing so far?
It's been really great. There has been really a fantastic atmosphere in the program, lots of collaborations that have started and a lot of interaction, and people have gotten to know each other. I think it's been really fantastic.
Yes, there's a lot of, even beyond the research, there's a lot of social getting together, and it's a really pleasant atmosphere. And the research results are also very, very impressive, I find.
Super. And so is there anyone in particular that stood out so far? Any of your visitors, any of the researchers who've been collaborating either with yourselves or each other?
I think as a whole the program has really worked well. In particular, the early career searchers have really made an immense contribution to have a very active program. They've been involved in the program a lot, in the organization of seminars, social events.
Another thing that was really good, I think, was that we were a little bit concerned about the virtual participants in the beginning, but it turned out that they were really good at participating, especially in the seminars and yeah.
Yeah, and we've seen that a lot of participants have started new projects with people they haven't worked together with before. So some of us, but a lot of the young participants got to extend their networks and have profited a lot of being together in person, or some of us through virtual participants. So that's been great, and we've heard a lot of people saying how well that has worked.
Yes, I think it's about community. I think already in the Institute there's a very good community amongst the staff here, so it provides a very good setting for us all to come here and work, and then that's led to a very good community feeling in the programme itself, and that breaks down barriers. That means that people can start collaborating together. Sometimes people have shared offices and started working together, or they've met at social events and they started collaborations, and just having this feeling of all being part of a bigger thing, working together. I think that's what's making it a real success.
You mentioned the early career researchers. Is there anything in particular that you did to encourage them, or that others could do to encourage them, or did it happen quite naturally?
I think the fact that we have gotten them involved in the organization has allowed them to feel like they own the program as well, and has, I think, empowered them to possibly talk to people more easily and really feel part of the program. And I think there have been a few examples of collaborations that have started and finished already at the Institute, which is very impressive, and they have been a mix between early career researchers and older participant or more established researchers, and also many collaborations, as Karen mentioned, between people sharing offices, for example, or just meeting up in the common areas. It's really been great that way.
And some of the early career researchers came back to us and asked whether we could invite some visitors, like for staying here or giving talks. So they've really participated in organizing stuff. That was great.
Yes, that must be really encouraging to see. Have there been any particular talks that have happened so far, whether by members of the programme or during workshop weeks, that you've found particularly inspirational, each of you, or interesting?
We've had quite a number of different series. So we've had seminar series on the Tuesday afternoon and on the Friday afternoon. So people have been sharing the latest developments in those series. And that's also brought the programme together. And another thing that's gone very well is the open problem session. And that's met every week. So people have... And I think it's a bit harder to come up with something for an open problem session. It's not like talking about your latest research. So that's led to quite a lot of discussion afterwards as well. And so people present their problem, and then there would be discussion amongst the audience. And there've been the Kirk and the Rothschild series of talks. So that's also acted as a focus for the programme participants.
Yeah, so because what we did is in addition to the Rothschild and Kirk lectures, each of the fellows has given a series of a lecture series, basically of 3 talks each, where they have gone more deeply into the material they presented in the Kirk or Rothschild lecture, and I think that has been really fantastic.
I think that's a significant amount of work. We've asked the fellows to do a lot, and we really appreciate that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very interesting, because those talks that you just mentioned are public-facing keynote talks in which anyone at all is welcome to attend them. So it's nice that you can sort of delve deeper into that subject matter afterwards for those that are here long term. That seems to have worked really well for you by the sounds of it.
This true. It also creates something ongoing which stretches over several weeks, because they were doing one lecture with the deeper lectures per week. So we have one more Kirk lecture coming up. Well, it's not the Kirk lecture, but from the Kirk speaker, one more lecture coming up tomorrow, which will then be the last of all these longer term lectures.
Has it been an interesting balance between trying to schedule as many interesting talks as possible, but also allowing that time to collaborate outside of scheduled activities? Has that been a challenge, that balance?
Yeah, I mean, at points we really had a very dense program. So, for example, when we had the 3rd workshop in November, that was just in between some of the Kirk lectures talks. So it felt quite intense, but then it feeds back because we get people interacting, feedback from talks. So I think it's worked out well. Yeah.
Excellent.
I think I've particularly appreciated having lots of talks to go to and things to learn, because I've been involved in a big administrative job for a few years. So I was a little bit out of research, and being able to come back in and learn what's going on has been very exciting and helpful.
Yeah, so that's a really interesting point, Bethany, is that each of you are outside of your regular jobs and environment while you're here. Could I ask how that has felt for you? It seems like for you, Bethany, it's been exciting and enlivening to a degree, because you're doing a different kind of work. I've just put words in your mouth, but perhaps you could tell me a little bit more about this experience.
I think I was also feeling a bit apart from everything that was going on. It's like there were all these great talks happening online, and I just wasn't able to go to them, and I was but coming here and just seeing everyone and being part of things again, it feels like I'm part of this wider community, and I'm not separate, and I think that's been the best thing for me.
And how about you, the other 3 of the organisers here?
I mean, it is also, for me, this is one of the first events, I mean, I think for everybody, where people really get together again. I was going to say after the pandemic, but I can guess we're still in it somehow. But so that makes it special as well. But also being away from my regular job, I mean, no teaching and no organizational meetings within the department. That's very liberating to be able to do the research activities. And having all these people around who I can talk to is really very motivating.
Yes, so for me it has given me time to pick up projects I haven't had time to think about for a long time, and to finish some projects that were long overdue to be finished. Discuss with people here has been really great. There's been people from different areas. For example, there's one mathematical physicist, and a lot of things in the area we're working in has connections to physics, but they're very hard to pick out from papers because the process of thinking is very different, and so it's been really great to be able to talk and have real discussions.
Yeah, for me it's also, as Ralph said, it's like the first time in almost 2 years that we get together and discuss, so I've profited a lot from that, to be able to interact in person directly and be away from the routine that I had at work and at home. Yeah, so it's been brilliant to just be here and concentrate on my research. Pick up some long-standing old problems, making a lot of progress on them.
I think we're quite privileged. We had a lot of support. We've had support from our departments allowing us to come here and to have a break from teaching to allow us to do that. But at the same time, the support from the Institute to make this all happen. So we appreciate that there's quite a lot going on to actually make this, to allow this to happen.
It's interesting as well about the social side, which you mentioned at the beginning, actually, and just then there were hints of it. The pandemic has thrown a few difficulties in the way of that, but how have you found the social side of meeting people? And whenever we watch the breaks in the workshops, there's a lot of interaction going on. There's the noise level rises as people come out into the break area. Has that been exciting for you to get to know others who you perhaps in your field who you perhaps may not have known before?
I think it's been definitely great to meet the young people, because maybe you know of them but haven't really met them or haven't had an opportunity to speak with them. And I think that's really been very good to get a chance to speak with the people individually and get to know them and get to know of their work. And I thought that.
And I think for the young people also, I mean, for us as organizers, we probably know most of the people who are here, at least by name, or some of us knows the person definitely, but for the young people who come here, meeting all the others is probably a very important moment in their career.
Yes, absolutely. So can I ask you each about your own work? Because it's a lot of distraction and work organising a programme, but at the same time you have been able, as you said, Bethany, to get back into research and be involved. Have you felt that your own personal work has been moved forward by the time so far?
Yeah, I mean, I got significant progress on 3 old running projects which had been dormant in the last few years. And I was able to wrap up some work with participants and discuss new potential projects with a few participants. Also, like talking about my work made us discover new connections, so that's been very helpful.
It's the same for me. After presenting in one of the earlier workshops, due to comments from the audience, it became clear that there's a connection between the work I was doing to mathematical physics that I hadn't realized, and then being here and being able to talk with the same people for weeks about this connection was really helpful to make it clear. It was very, very good for those projects for me.
So I'm particularly happy that one project is well, we've still got to write it up, but it's close to completion. So after a few years of not being so involved to finish something feels really good. and Karen and I have been working together, so that's been very good to move forward on that, because we've been working on that for a few years, so to actually have a chance to sit down and talk properly about it has been really good.
Yeah, so what has been really great for me is not only the projects I've been working on while here physically with people, but also I've been working with virtual participants, and we've picked up a project that had been dormant, and somehow this semester has the virtual participants also who unfortunately could not be here, but they had nevertheless a sabbatical, and so it's given them time and me time, and we have had a lot of meetings and have made some significant progress there, so that's been really great.
That's really positive to hear. We're talking, of course, about the programme as though it's over, but it's far from over. You've got another 2.5 weeks, roughly, I think. And so what are you most excited about in that remaining fortnight or so?
Go ahead.
One thing that's coming up is a panel session, which is on the 8th of December, on life decisions in mathematics. So that will be there'll be a panel of 6 people, 3 from our programme and 3 from the Mathematics of Deep Learning programme. Christy Marr has very kindly agreed to chair that. And I think this will be a great chance for a different kind of interaction, and helpful for young people to learn about mathematical careers, but helpful for all of us to talk about how those things work and what's important. And I went to there was a Power of Women in Mathematics of Deep Learning panel session a week or 2 ago, and that was already very, very helpful for me, actually, both in terms of preparing for this one, but also in just learning about the different ways that people think about their careers and working together. So I'm quite excited about that.
We also have a few more visitors who are coming and who we're very much looking forward to. Some of them have been really foundational in the creation of the subject, cluster algebras, and it will be great to have them here and to interact.
And we also have like a joint seminar for the 2 programs together the first time in December. That's going to be great, like a talk which connects with both programs. So that's quite exciting.
Well, and there's also the time to wrap things up. So this, if you want to discuss the last items of your joint research, well, then you have now 2.5 weeks to do this. And so it's a time to get to a point where you make plans for the future with the participants, where you meet again, how to continue the joint research and so on.
It's interesting to hear about the work alongside the concurrent programme, the Mathematics of Deep Learning, because I know that often the programmes are scheduled next to one another for deliberate reasons. So that's exciting that you would have married together. Would you have thought that deep learning would be a field that would marry well with yours? A lot of head shaking.
There are some potential areas for interaction, as this seminar shows, I suppose, and I feel like things like polytopes might be common to both, but it's hard to tell, not being expert in the other field. But it's a surprise that we really could have a seminar that will be of great interest to both programmes, really sits on that boundary.
That's true.
Well, that's very interesting to hear. Is there anything else which you would like to discuss at all to do with the programme? Is there any other area you would like me to ask about before we wrap up?
I'd just like to say the participants have been great in collaborating and also very happy to be here. We got a lot of feedback already. They enjoyed being here. They have made a lot of progress. And we were very surprised even to get a present with cards. They were so happy. It's been just a lot of interaction and very positive.
Yeah, that's wonderful to hear.
Yeah, we've had a lot of support from the participants. They've done a lot of the jobs organising seminars and sessions and social events. It's been wonderful to see, and I think this programme couldn't have happened without them. They've really made this programme the success that it is.
And several of them told us that they managed to finish or improve or found some new results that they've already finished writing up now. So that's been significant progress.
Yeah, that's very exciting to already have results at this stage, and it's still so early. There's a lot to come in the months and years to follow.
And I would say the program has been so successful that it inspired us to think about where to go from here and what's next. And we've sort of started discussing some plans, and it's been really inspirational in some sense. And I think it's also pushed the science forward. I think there's been new developments and new connections that have been found, and I really feel it's given the whole subject a huge sort of injection and drive into new directions.
Yeah, that's true. I would agree. The people working on the same topic but not really interacting, looking at the same problem from different sides and talking to each other about their approach and the other's approach. Do we have a conserved quantity in representation theory is one of the questions that comes to mind, which is still open. But that was one of the open problem sessions. So it opens up a lot of new approaches and ideas.
Yeah, well, as with all these programs, as I said before, we will see so many of the results in the months and years to come, which is very exciting. Was there anything you wanted to add? No, fabulous. Well then, thank you very much, all of you. Bethany?
Oh, I guess I would say I was very glad that some PhD students have been able to come here. We've really appreciated their contributions and the liveliness and activity they've added to the programme has been wonderful.
Well, that's very exciting to hear as well. Yeah, so many contributions from such a range of people at various stages in their career. That's fabulous. Super. Well, I think that will wrap it up for now. Thank you very much all for joining me, and it's been fascinating talking to you about how your programme has gone. I look forward to seeing this final 2 weeks.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.